My name is David Martinez, and I've been driving for Uber for 3 years now. I work the night shift because the money's better, fewer drivers on the road. It started about 2 months ago on a Tuesday night around 11 p.m. I was parked outside a downtown apartment complex, waiting for my next ride request. I glanced in my rearview mirror to check my hair before the passenger arrived. That's when I saw him for the first time, a man in a dark suit. He was sitting perfectly still in my back seat, staring straight ahead with hollow eyes. I spun around immediately, my heart hammering against my ribs like a trapped bird. The back seat was completely empty, just the worn black leather I'd seen all evening. I convinced myself it was just fatigue playing tricks on my exhausted mind. After all, I'd been driving for 12 hours straight on nothing but gas station coffee. But then it happened again, the next night at the same time, same position. The figure appeared clearer this time, wearing that same dark suit with pale hands. Again, I whipped my head around to look directly at the back seat behind me. Nothing there except the faint smell of my Pine air freshener and city traffic. I started keeping track after that, writing down every occurrence in my glove compartment. Tuesday, 11:17 p.m., downtown apartment complex outside the red brick building. Wednesday, 10:45 p.m., outside the Marriott Hotel near the airport terminal. The pattern became undeniable. Every single night without fail he was there. When I checked my rearview mirror during late hours, he sat like a patient passenger. I tried different approaches to catch whatever was happening in my car. I adjusted the mirror angle multiple times throughout each shift, hoping to catch him. I installed a small dashboard camera pointing toward the back seat for evidence. The camera footage showed nothing unusual, just an empty back seat hour after hour. But my eyes kept seeing him in that mirror, always the same still posture. Never moving, never acknowledging my presence in any way I could detect. I started avoiding looking at the rearview mirror altogether during my shifts. I repositioned it to show only the rear window, focusing on traffic behind me. This worked for exactly 3 nights before I unconsciously adjusted it back. As if some invisible force was compelling me to look at that back seat. And there he was again, sitting patiently in his dark suit, completely motionless. I began picking up passengers more frequently, thinking real people would help. Having chattering college students or tired office workers in that exact space. But it didn't work, even with passengers sitting where I saw the figure. He would still appear in the mirror, somehow occupying the same space impossibly. The passengers never seemed to notice anything unusual about the car's interior. They would chat on phones, stare out windows, or sleep peacefully during rides. Nobody ever mentioned feeling cold spots, unusual presences, or anything strange. They rated my service 5 stars and left pleasant comments about my driving. But I was falling apart. My sleep became fragmented and filled with nightmares. Dreams of empty back seats and mirrors that showed things that weren't there. I researched everything about automotive mirrors, optical illusions, and fatigue hallucinations. Nothing explained what I was experiencing. The figure appeared too consistently, too clearly, and always in exactly the same way for tired eyes. I considered quitting Uber entirely, maybe finding a day job without mirrors. But I needed the money for rent, car payments, and basic living expenses. So I kept driving, kept seeing that figure night after night like clockwork. I tried talking to him once, late on a Thursday night outside a diner. I looked directly into the rearview mirror and spoke to the figure's reflection. "Who are you? What do you want from me? Why are you here?" The figure remained motionless, staring ahead with those hollow, unblinking eyes, showing no sign of hearing my words or acknowledging my desperate questions. I started carrying a small handheld mirror to check different angles. The handheld mirror showed only the normal back seat, empty and unremarkable. But the rearview mirror continued showing the figure, creating an impossible contradiction. My friends began commenting on my appearance, dark circles, and weight loss. Nervous habits like constantly checking mirrors and glancing over my shoulder. I couldn't explain without sounding insane. How do you describe impossible passengers? I made an appointment with an eye doctor, thinking I had vision problems. The comprehensive eye exam revealed nothing unusual. My vision was perfect. The doctor suggested stress management and getting more sleep each night. I tried switching cars with another Uber driver for one evening, thinking maybe the phenomenon was connected to my specific vehicle only. In the borrowed red Honda Civic, I watched the rearview mirror all night. Nothing appeared. The back seat remained empty in both sight and reflection. For the first time in weeks, I drove without seeing that mysterious figure. But when I returned to my own car the next night, there he was, sitting in that same position as if he'd been waiting for my return. I researched my car's history, a 2018 silver Toyota Camry from a dealership. The vehicle report showed routine maintenance, no accidents, 2 previous owners. I contacted the previous owners through social media with casual questions. Neither had driven for rideshare or spent time watching rearview mirrors at night. I began documenting everything more carefully: photos, videos, and detailed logs. The photos and videos never captured the figure, but my logs revealed patterns. The appearances were becoming more frequent, occurring during earlier evening hours. What started as midnight sightings now happened as early as 9 p.m. The figure was becoming clearer, more defined in the mirror's reflection. I could see details like suit fabric texture and his pale skin color. His hands remained folded, but I saw thin fingers and a wedding ring. Most disturbing was his gradual change in posture over the weeks. His head position had shifted slightly, as if slowly turning toward the front. I measured the angle and confirmed he was moving closer to eye contact. Each week, his gaze moved a few degrees closer to looking at me. I calculated that within a month, he would be staring directly at me. The thought of meeting those hollow eyes filled me with profound dread. One researched local deaths, accident reports, and missing persons cases nearby. One report caught my attention from 3 years ago in this area. A rideshare driver named Marcus Thompson found dead in his car downtown. He died of a heart attack while waiting for a fare, wearing dark suit. The newspaper photo showed striking resemblance to my backseat passenger. I drove to where Marcus was found, parking in the exact spot. At 11:23 p.m., the figure appeared, but his head was turned further forward, nearly at the point of making direct eye contact through the reflection. I whispered Marcus Thompson's name into the empty car, watching carefully. For a moment, I thought I saw the slightest movement, a shift in posture. I began talking to the figure regularly, addressing him as Marcus, telling him about my night's work, passengers, and routes I'd driven. Speaking to him seemed to calm my nerves and make appearances less threatening. But the progression continued, his gaze moving closer to meeting mine nightly. I counted down, estimating 5 or 6 more nights before full eye contact. The anticipation was worse than the actual appearances had ever been. On the calculated final night, I brought a voice recorder and camera. I parked at 11:15 p.m., took deep breaths, and adjusted my mirror. He was there, just degrees away from direct eye contact through reflection. I spoke quietly. "Marcus, I've been honored to share these drives with you." His head completed its slow turn, and we made eye contact in the mirror. Instead of terror, I felt overwhelming sadness and recognition in that moment. He wasn't haunting my car. He was showing me my future, warning me. Marcus had died alone, isolated from human connection by solitary night work. The figure was showing me the path I was walking toward dangerous isolation. I made a decision to continue driving, but also connect with people outside work. The next night, when I looked in my mirror, the back seat was empty. Marcus was gone, his warning delivered and apparently understood by me. I never saw the figure again, but kept his story as a reminder. The real horror isn't supernatural visits, but the isolation consuming us. I still drive for Uber, but now volunteer and maintain real relationships. Sometimes late at night, I glance in my mirror and whisper, "Thank you." Grateful for a warning that saved me from becoming another lonely driver. The mirror shows only what's real now, but the lesson guides my life. Marcus Thompson taught me about connection, isolation, and human relationships through patient appearances. And that was exactly what he was trying to tell me all along.